Probably was a bit harsh the other day, but it needs to be said, because this Councillor King guy is, it's upsetting to have to say it. You don't like say it, other than the fact that it's upsetting for everyone concerned, but because the Colchester Council Watch is kind of like far too busy to speak to people, really, and so is Verbs, unless you kind of want to go on there. But I don't even know how the people who want to go on there get on there, and then when they get on there, they don't seem to want to talk to anyone unless they go on a programme. It's starting to feel like some kind of seance where you can't quite, the spirits can't quite come through properly, but what I wanted to add to the video that I did the other day, not that there'll be anybody listening to it or not, but I'll put it anyway, is that in addition to what I said about Councillor with extremely heavy critique about Councillor King at Colchester Council Watch, who is now changing the rules of the meetings and so forth, the council chamber meetings, right? It's the model for it, regardless of any of the procedure rules which the council publish, and particularly the guidelines that aren't legislation. No guidelines are legislation. The legislation is the legislation. The thing is that the format for the council chamber is meant to be like a court. It's supposed to be a court, like a court, and they're meant to make orders. It's just that it's got a different format to when you go into a court. When you go into a court, you've got 3 magistrates, and you have a legal advisor now. They always used to have a legal advisor, right? They used to just have the recorder, clerk, right? You've got your cabinet, which is usually 1 to 3 councillors, right? And then you've got the other councillors who sit there and vote on things, right? And then you've got the members of the public who come and speak or present petitions or whatever, right? They're still holding court, even when it's called council, and they're still making orders and judgments, because it's a commission. It is a commission of an authority and jurisdiction where they make orders, right? And a lot of the things that they're doing you had this court of civil requests, the court of civil requests, and things like planning permissions, and if you are allowed to, build something or, do something with some land, it was dealt with in civil requests, right? Because it's a civil request. And usually you're asking, this is why, are there any objections? Why do the council have to put notices up everywhere if someone's got a civil request to modify some land or change the use of a building, right? They're seeing why are they doing that? To see if any of their fellow villagers or townspeople object. They're asking their peers, the other villagers, right, what they think. And they've got an opportunity to respond. That's why they've got to be notified, right? The councillors are elected supposedly to hear the matters and make sure that all the evidence is heard and then make a decision on it, just like a jury, right? It is a court of civil requests. And the mayor in London and in the cities and boroughs, the mayor is sitting and holding court. The mayor, both in civil requests and criminal matters. And then you've got, now he's walking around with all his regalia on behalf of the council, but he's not sat there, one of the councillors who are voted on by the other councillors to be the chair of the council, because it's ceremonial. But like Sadiq Khan is the mayor of London, and we've got a county mayor now who's a police commissioner. Now, the formats might have changed slightly over the years. Like, there's meant to be a jury in the magistrates' court. It was only pulled in the mid-1800s, 1850s, right? They snuck the jury out of the magistrates' court. Now it's in the Crown Court, right? So they've been making these little modifications and changes, and the alderman, right? And so they've been tweaking things, but you're still hearing a case. When someone wants to build a house or build houses and make so much millions out of building 50 houses, they have to make a civil request for permission to do it. No matter how much money they've got to go get permissions. But who are they getting the permissions from? They're getting the permissions from the other people who live in the area, because they might not want them to build that there. It might ruin the place, right? From their peers. But they've taken the jury out of the hundreds court, now known as magistrates court. There is no jury. So if you go with a civil request to the 100, right, you ain't going to ask the village. You know, this is the thing. Now, the jurats, the jury, are meant to be the peers representing the people, right? And the thing with the council chamber is you've got these councillors who are effectively aldermen, right? And then you've got a chair who's been elected, you know, by the rest of the councillors to be the chair. And you have got members of the public coming in, because a member of the public put the case, say, I want, you know, they're entering a case. And then everyone else in there is reacting and responding to it. They're like the respondent to the case. Right? But the councillor also, like, these companies, like all these companies, BT or, you know, whoever they are, British Telecom, Yorkshire Water and so forth, there are certain things that they're doing which require maintenance, which are compulsory or required, right? But then there are things that they're just doing with trends. You know, everyone's getting 5G, or the telephone company want to put 5G in. Well, what if we don't want it? But, you know, who's going to stop them? It's like some kind of wave coming over the country. Well, you got to stand up to them. At the end of the day, the phone company is the one who's putting the request in, right? Oh, we want to put 5G in everywhere. They're bringing a case to the court, right? And you're responding. You're responding to it. Now, in a civil case, you put your evidence, and then, you know, the other party puts theirs. You can't say, oh, we ain't got time to hear the evidence, or you've only got 2 minutes to give the evidence, or, we can only hear this matter once, or whatever, because it's not over till it's over. This is like case management in a court. You've got case management, right? You have case management hearings. Obviously, the more and more hearings you have, the more and more money it racks up. But you need it thoroughly heard in order to make sure you lay all the evidence. This is why, if you've got a good solicitor and they've got a lot of facts and evidence, you know, they set mention hearings, they set management hearings. The more complex it is, and the more opposition there are to it, or more serious or important it is, needs allocating more time. You can't have Councillor King sitting in the council going, oh, you know, you get 5 minutes and then you're not allowed to raise this question again, or you're not allowed to bring this matter up again. It's kind of, it is on the same level of kind of like, you know, when these judges are saying, oh, you know, this evidence is not submissible, or, you know, you can't have this witness or that witness and so forth. But it's even worse than that, because now they're putting time limits on. I've never heard of a magistrate's court who puts time limits on. I have heard of them being really, really busy, and you're having to sit there all day, you know, until the end, and then you just, you know, eventually go in. Or even it being too busy and you have to come back another day, right? But, you know, when you go into a magistrate's court, usually, even though I don't like magistrate's courts, you know, if a certain case is taking a long time, you have to wait, right? You know, and at the end of the day, how is it that these telephone companies or these phone companies or any private developers or someone owns, McDonald's chain or whatever, can walk in there just because they're absolutely loaded, right, and they've got enough money to buy, in more money than God, and, put a case down on the table, I want to build 15 McDonald's, right? And then people who object to it, Councillor King goes, you can't, we're not going to speak about this more than once, and I mean, you can have 2 minutes, right? It'd be all right if the McDonald's could have... When the applicant applies to build a McDonald's, does Councillor King say, right, your time starts now, you got 2 minutes to explain why we should build this McDonald's and put the plans on the table and set out how it's going to affect the town, right? And show, prove what need there is for a McDonald's in this town to justify his, giving you permission. Your time starts now. 2 minutes. Absolute tosh. There's no architect in this country, right, who can set that out in 2 minutes. And then you might say, well, the council looked at it beforehand, before the session, but did they? Did they? We'll look at it behind the scenes, but while you're here, you can have 2 minutes. Other cases will just have to wait. What I think is going on is that it effectively the Labour Party and Tories are writing with these companies, because half of the council doesn't have a department anymore, like a highways department. It's a company like Ross Highways or Balfour Beat Me or Taylor Wimpey. When you go to these council highways headquarters, it is Care. Oh, it's Care. No, not Care Starmer. This is Care. I thought this was Shropshire Council. No, it's Care. Oh, right. Shropshire Council's Care. Well, you should have told me that. Hello, Councillor Care. I mean, Councillor King. Oh, Councillor King is Care. Hello, Care. Yes, surprise. I'm Councillor King, but I'm also Care, a.k.a. I'm a private company, the Road Highways Company. Okay, you want to object to our company expanding and putting loads of new roads equipment and working with a phone company and, banging 5G in, that we're making shitloads of money out of, wink, wink. I'll tell you what, you can have 30 seconds and don't come back in again with the same question, toss off, right? It's a scam. You might as well have Ronald McDonald. It might as well be Councillor King might as well come in dressed as Ronald McDonald or Hamburglar. He might as well come in, as the chief executive of Care with his name tag on and uniform. Oh, look, it's the chief executive of Care. Hello, yeah, how are you doing? Oh, well, I'm a councillor now, I've been elected. Do you want to oppose that new road that I'm wanting to build with 5G? Oh, actually, yeah, I do. Well, you can have 30 seconds, or I'll be kind, 15, right? There's something effectively wrong here, right? Now, if they've got too much business for the session, that's it's a busy courtroom, there'll have to be a backlog, right? Or we'll set you another hearing when we have got some time, right? But all this, and actually, I better remember this as well. This is important, right? So I want to look through all the Assizes Court records on the National Archives, and I want to look through all the Court of Civil Requests archives, because I want to know how they've been handling the petitions, right? Because in the Tumultuous Petitioning Act in 1661, way, way, way before the 1688 Bill of Rights, we're talking 40, 50, 60 years before the Bill of Rights, right? So your petition to the Parliament, the King, was heard in the Hundreds Court or in the Quarter Sessions or Assizes, right? Because you had to get consent if there were a lot of people supporting it. You had to get support. So they must have... I've been looking for what these proceedings are, right? Because the William Penn trial, the William Mead, William Penn Old Bailey trial, that's in London. It had the mayor was sitting that case, but it was a criminal case. That was a case under the Tumultuous Petitioning Act, but that was for not complying with the Tumultuous Act. It was an offence. You had special protections for petitioning back then, but there was an offence that you had to get consent if it was a very large one to proceed, right? Now, I want to know how they were handling those. And this, I haven't actually had time to go through the Court of Civil Requests records yet. But from what we can gather from the William Mead, William Penn trial, which I have got a copy of the full proceedings in great detail, what can we gather from that? Well, the mayor's sitting it for a start with aldermen, and it does concern a petition, but you've got a jury in there. Now, if it hadn't have been a prosecution against Penn and Mead, right? If it had been a permission hearing, consent hearing, civil request to get consent for them to have done the petition, right? You need consent from a justice or a large part of a grand jury. Well, they had a jury there in London in the Old Bailey. So that jury could have given consent, right? Or the mayor. Oh, mayor! That's funny. Mayor! We have mayors in councils. Mayors are meant to be in charge of councils. That's funny. It's a bit odd they don't have a little slot for hearing petitions now in courts. Magistrates' courts don't seem to know anything about petitions, or none of these crown courts have any petitions being put through, not to Parliament anyway. They just deal with criminal cases, or you have to go to the county court. That's funny. Do you know anywhere that might have a little time slot set aside? A little allocation set to the side for hearing petitions from the public, by any chance? Anyone know anywhere left, anywhere remaining that still does that anywhere? Anyone know anything close enough to the bullseye? 20, higher than an 8? Anything remotely close to might be able to hear that or deal with it? Oh! What's this? The proceedings of local council. Slots allocated for hearing petitions. Councillor King. What's on the table? A mace. I'm blind. I think I found the place. A place that has slots allocated for hearing petitions for civil requests with, what's left of a jury. Where is the jury? Are they gone? There's umpteen councillors there. Maybe they might give me consent. You'll be lucky if it's opposing Labour. It's a Labour council. Well, we were asking our peers for, because this is it. Councillor King, just the man. Can we have permission to proceed with this petition to Parliament? Seeing though you rejected it 8 times, and now we can't mention it again, I'd like to raise it to Parliament. Just the place, slots for hearing petitions. Well, you can mention it again. Well, I'm going to mention it again because I'm going to raise them out to Parliament. Do we have consent? Can you ask? Oh, just a minute. Isn't your party leader in Parliament, Keir Starmer? Oh, just the man, the head of the Labour Party. He represents your political party in Parliament. You're representing him in the local area. Well, we might toss the matter into Parliament. They've got a petitions committee where you can register it online. Planning application 587463B. Well, we would like to object to Councillor King. He doesn't want us to mention it again. Or raise the matter. Well, we'll petition Parliament then. Right? Because I think the council is the court of civil requests, not the county courts, a plaintiff between John Smith and John Bigsby about, whose car it is or who's getting divorced to his wife. A civil request. I don't want McDonald's to build another drive-through, but Councillor King does. He voted in favour of them building it. Well, I want to object to this. Well, you have to go to the judicial review. What's that? Oh, it's like a court. Have they got a jury? Not anymore. You've got Mr. Business, Mr. Ronald McDonald sitting it, you know. Well, actually, a judicial review apparently is only meant to be there to scrutinise whether Councillor King went through the proper procedures or not, or did something wrong. No, actually, we want to overrule Councillor King. We want to, take it higher, Oh, well, that'll be Parliament then. Well, can we have consent then, Councillor King? Seeing there are more than 20 of us sign this petition, you speak to my hand because my face ain't listening. I think that the council is the court of civil requests. Where's the mayor gone? Oh, he's just for ceremonial purposes now. Who just walks around in a costume like Ronald McDonald. But the mace is still here. Is that just for ceremonial purposes, or does it carry some kind of authority with it? Oh, look, it's Councillor King. Are you the king? No, I sound like him, but the real king, he's in Parliament. Well, we'd like to raise a matter to him, seeing though his mace is there. Can I pick it up and carry it all the way to London? Like that MP tried to pick one up in Parliament, walk out with it. There's something wrong with these councillors. They need to go lock themselves in a library for a month and read some books, read some history. They need to be very, very interested in it. More interested in than they are their own political party. But they're getting advised by the Attorney General's office, the Solicitor General, by legal services. You've got your own legal services, have you? Yes, the council have got legal services, an entire department of solicitors.